The culture that we live in is kind of big on the miracles of Jesus. Okay, well, I've studied those so-called miracles diligently, and they weren't supernatural. The bonehead disciple Peter thought it was supernatural magic, and that's how Christianity became so superstitious about Jesus. John Mark of Cyrene wrote the first Jesus narrative biography that we know of, and on which all of the others depend. And the Gospel of Mark is a very interesting read, because he didn't know Jesus himself. He got the stories from the bonehead disciple Peter and other Galileans, most of whom were equally superstitious. And in the Gospel of Mark tells those stories and then adds the details to where you can understand what really happened, and then Mark ridicules the Galilean disciples for not understanding. I really like the Gospel according to Mark, because Mark's understanding of who Jesus was is something totally different from what the church gives us. A Christian apologist, when they're trying to say, Jesus is God, or and all that kind of stuff, because he did all these miracles. I said, well, just a minute. People work miracle workers all over the place. Yeah, Jesus is not the only miracle worker. There were famous miracle workers at that time. Yeah, you even got them today if you want them. So I said, these things you're calling miracles are just really cheap shots. I said, how about this though? It would be a miracle if Jesus was an honest man who told the truth as best he could, wouldn't it? And they have no answer. Yeah, the idea that Jesus, the idea that honesty could be the greatest miracle, it just doesn't compute. Why? They're apologists. What is the Christian apologetical system? It's all about making shit up and lying about stuff, and it's just completely dishonest.
Yeah.
And so, if you're an apologist, well, then dishonesty is what your whole religion thing revolves around. To be asked, well, maybe, wouldn't it be a miracle if somebody was actually honest and told the truth? Okay, well, those are the words that an apologist cannot hear. And you know what? It was because Jesus was honest and didn't let other people lie to him and did his best not to lie to himself, that he was able to do the remarkable things that he did that ignorant people thought were miracles, when in fact all he was trying to do was to teach them what he had discovered. Teach them in parable and by direct example. So, maybe he's a good case study of this principle of living in agreement. Did Jesus screw up? Oh yeah. We all screw up. We're human. But at the same time, he accomplished remarkable things for which Christianity refuses to give him credit because they wanted to be something else. So, the Greeks had, the ancient Greeks had this story about a philosopher who wandered around with a lantern looking for the one honest man, and of course never found that one honest man. I mean, that's honesty is a difficult discipline.
Yeah.
And that particular Greek story is, it points that out. And so anyway, there was Jesus, and as far as I can tell, he was honest as they come. He made some big time screw ups. There were times he wasn't quite as good a critical thinker of him that in retrospect he should have been. But that's easy to say in hindsight. He was a product of his historical circumstances. That's all it could be. That's all anybody can be. And he did the best he could with that set of circumstances. And so I guess that's a good way to wind up the lecture on miracles.
Thank you.
There's no greater miracle than to simply be honest with yourself. What did you think? What were you thinking? I missed it.
Finishing a lecture.
There's no greater miracle than finishing a lecture. The old man's long-winded, yeah.
But I love you for it. Thank you.
You're welcome.